Chapter 13. Aurora. 2 summers away had made me forget how much I truly love Honeyacres. After we completed our week of training with minimal further incident or embarrassment, our campers arrived a few days ago, full of excitement and trepidation, but mainly sugar. And I feel like my feet haven't touched the ground since. I've traveled to so many different places with Formula One, experienced some of the best the world has to offer, and this dot on a map in the middle of nowhere in California is my favorite place on Earth. It makes me feel so content, watching the people I've gotten to know become comfort counselors for kids, some of whom are away from home for the first time. It's only been a few days, but I finally feel like I'm doing something with purpose. I've been so tired and busy, it hasn't occurred to me to check my cell phone, and after Russ and I finally cleared the air, I spend my time thinking about how to make things the most fun and not overthinking. I've already replaced Amelia with 2 new best friends, Freya and Sadia, 2 8-year-olds in our group, because they said they liked my freckles and I'm really tall. That's nicer than Amelia has ever been to me, so she's out. She totally understood when I told her, and she confirmed she's also replaced me with Tammy, a 9-year-old fellow ballerina who, in the few days she's been here, has not attempted to hurdle the ballet bar. Xander and Russ watched Amelia and me argue playfully for 5 minutes, heads moving between us like they were watching a tennis match, until Xander finally wrapped an arm around Russ and declared he'd never replace him. Russ has been the most relaxed I've seen him in the past few days. He's amazing with each and every kid in our group, knowing exactly what to say or do to get them involved or bring them out of their shell. I'm careful not to stare in awe too much, because kids at this age notice absolutely everything, and the last thing I need is to be hounded about whether he's my boyfriend. There are 20 campers, aged 8 to 10, in our Brown Bears group. And what I apparently didn't consider before asking for this age group is 8 to 10-year-olds are really fucking nosy. It's tricky territory for me, a chronic oversharer desperate for any kind of acceptance she can get, but I've managed to keep my mouth closed so far. Plus, Russ has no intention of being my boyfriend given his love of rule-keeping. Not that I want him to be my boyfriend, but an only semi-celibate summer would be nice. Only 8 and a bit more weeks to go. The kids are currently having an hour break after lunch to keep them out of the sun at the hottest time of the day and give them a chance to wind down after a morning of horse riding, archery, and volleyball. Making my way across the camp, I immediately spot Russ and Amelia watching something near the Brown Bear's cabin. "What are you doing?" I ask as I approach the 2 of them. I'm immediately greeted with shushing. Russ points toward a shaded area beside the cabin where several of our campers appear to be coordinating a routine of sorts. Blocking the sun from my eyes with my hand, I watch in silence with them for 2 minutes before asking again, "What are you doing?" "We've been trying to work out what they're doing for 5 minutes, Amelia says, "but we can't decide if they're playing together or plotting to take over a small country." "Maybe it's a ritual," Russ clarifies, shrugging when I glare at him, confused. "You 2 should not be left in charge of children. They're clearly practicing for the end of summer talent show. They must have been here before. Smart to get a head start. We should have done that." "Sorry, back up," Russ says, stepping in front of me, eyebrows pinched together. "Why should we have done that?" I lower my hand. "My favorite thing about you is you're big enough to block out the sun," I say, referring to his 6'5" frame. Amelia shuffles closer to me, standing in the shade Russ creates. "Oh, you really are." "Aurora, why did you say we should have been practicing? Practicing what, exactly?" "Did Xander not tell you about the talent show? Everyone has to do something, including the counselors. They'll announce it on Sunday, most likely. That's what they used to do when I was here." I've never seen him so distressed, and I've just spent a week watching him awkwardly stumble his way through compulsory sharing about himself. His jaw is tight as he chews the inside of his cheek, and I struggle to stay focused on his concern as my mind begins to wander to the image of him dancing on a stage. "Are you gonna throw up?" Amelia asks, taking a step away from us. "I have no talent," he says. I want to tell him that's not true, since I've personally witnessed what he can do with his mouth, but that is counterproductive to our fledgling friendship. "I'm sure you do," I offer. "What about hockey?" "I can't play hockey at a talent show. Can I cheer you on from the audience? It's better for everyone if I'm not involved." "No, you have to do it. I love the talent show. I look forward to it all summer. The kids do too." He sighs, tilting his head back to the sky before looking at me again. "It's really important to you?" I nod. I was tutored when I was younger because we traveled with my dad's job. I didn't have school plays and talent shows. This was the only chance I had, and it made me feel less lonely. "Fine, I'll do it." "Promise?" I ask, holding out my pinky. "You have to come to all the rehearsals." He links his pinky with mine. "Promise." That was Aurora's really wholesome way of emotionally blackmailing you into participating, Russ, and you fell for it, Amelia says. "Have you considered showing hockey through the medium of contemporary dance?" "You're the goalie, right?" His reaction switches to surprise, and he nods. "I'll throw stuff at you, and you can block it. There. Talent." Dragging a hand through his hair, he slides it to the back of his neck, digging his fingers into his skin to ease out tension. "Why does this feel like you just want to throw stuff at me?" "You know her so well," Amelia jokes, turning her back to us to watch the kids dancing around again. Russ smiles, the dimples of his cheeks making me lose my train of thought until he speaks again. "Maybe that's my talent." "You don't need to feel nervous," I say quietly so only he can hear me. "Promise?" "I promise." After a week of settling in, camp is in full swing, and my soccer elective sign-up sheet is almost full. I'm buzzing with excitement. Following lunch and break time, the campers get to pick how to spend their afternoon by signing up for different counselor-led activities. After having their morning decided for them, the kids have a chance to do things more suited to their personal preferences. The only thing I've ever been good at is getting myself into trouble, but Jenna said I wasn't allowed to put that down as an option. I thought about doubling up with Amelia to offer dance, but she immediately told me to get my uncoordinated body away from her studio. So I'm teaching soccer, because it's pretty hard for me to screw that up. It's near impossible not to have a good understanding of it when you spent your childhood around as many Englishmen as I did. I just need to act confident, and the kids will think I'm actually good at it. I know my nearly full sign-up sheet doesn't really mean anything, but there's something soothing about knowing you're offering an activity they like and are excited about. And I know it's not about me, it's about the fact they want to play soccer, but it feels a little about me, and I'm happy they like me enough to choose to spend time learning from me. Even if I'm about to make it up as I go. Russ approaches as I'm spacing the colorful markers across the grass. "You need help? You're supposed to be enjoying your day off." Cool and calm. Don't get distracted by how pretty he is. I am enjoying my day off. His lips tug at the side, dimples appearing, and I'm excited to learn about soccer. He picks up a handful of markers from the stand and begins copying me, placing them on the ground at the right distance for kids to dribble a ball between. I repeat cool and calm in my head as he picks up the agility ladder and begins to spread it next to where I've already put the others. I'm making a conscious effort not to fill silences with nonsense, because Russ is a quiet guy, and I'm scared he'll get tired of me. But every quiet second feels like a missed opportunity to open him up a bit. Plus, when I'm around him, I truly have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. I have nothing of value to say, so I settle for small talk, which some would argue is worse than rambling. "Where's your lover?" "She's asleep in my cabin. It's too hot for her, but it's pretty cool down there." My head whips up so quickly, my neck crunches. "Wait, what?" Russ stops what he's doing and there's a moment where we just stare at each other. He's trying to understand why I'm confused, and I'm trying to work out if he's really telling me what I think he's telling me. Jumping to conclusions is silly, but I don't exactly pride myself on my level-headedness. He moves closer until he's standing right in front of me, the soft smile from earlier still there.
Rory, I'm talking about fish. Were you talking about Xander?
Okay, see, this is a learning experience. Yeah, I thought I was trying not to jump. Yeah, I was talking about Xander. He's trying not to laugh at me, which I appreciate because I'm trying to think of the best hiding place on site. I've found tons of great hiding places over the years. He'd never find me. I could live peacefully with the animals, like Snow White.
He's having a nap with the dogs. I didn't change my entire personality and start fucking random women I work with in the middle of the day.
The way he says fucking random women makes me feel strange. It sounds alien coming from his mouth. I thought you might be ready to say fuck the rules. It's hard work being good all the time. It's not that hard now that I'm trying. It took getting drunk and hearing how committed Russ is to keeping this job to make me realize I needed to uphold the commitments I made to myself when I got here. Continuing the same cycle of getting hurt and acting out doesn't benefit me, and it's not why I wanted to come back to Honey Acres. This is the longest I've stuck to anything that doesn't involve being petty.
I'm not there yet, but you'll be the first to know if I feel like getting into trouble.
He's flirting with me. I'm 99%, okay, more like 87%, sure he's flirting with me. Where is Amelia when I need her? I need a second opinion. I need to respond with something smart and funny and, more important, something that tells him I am not above having sex in the woods. I've got to stop forgetting about the universe's intention to mess with me, because not even 10 seconds later, I spot Clay and Maya walking toward us, followed closely by a crowd of eager, soon-to-be soccer players. Maybe it's not the universe. Maybe I just keep forgetting that I'm here to look after the kids and not just stare at Russ's massive thighs in his shorts. Either way, it's not the second opinion I was looking for. The class goes by without a hitch, the flirtation percentage certainty reducing every time I think about it. By evening, I've survived another round of dining hall chaos, a dance, and making sure everyone gets ready for bed. The day is over and I'm totally exhausted, which significantly reduces my chances of getting into mischief. Amelia went to bed an hour ago after her nightly phone catch-up with Poppy, and I've been trying to summon the energy to get out of this very comfortable chair beside the campfire for 20 minutes. Salmon is snoring on my chest. The heat of the fire is keeping us both warm, and there's a chance I could just fall asleep instead. My eyes are trying to close, and I'm fighting to keep them open, knowing if I fall asleep here, someone will definitely draw on my face.
Are you asleep?
Opening one eye, I spot Russ standing over me, looking as fresh as he did this morning. Yes, go away. He chuckles, and it's annoying how great he looks all the time. I know how little sleep he gets, and I know how hard he works all day, and yet here he is, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Come on, I'll walk you to your cabin. You can't fall asleep here. Xander said he's going to draw a dick on your face if you do.
But I can't disturb the puppy, I groan, gesturing to my fluffy stomach warmer. I think she's doubled in weight in like a week, so I'm not sure I could get her off me if I tried.
Xander taught her to do tricks for turkey bacon. I'll pick her up. Come on.
Can't you pick both of us up? I'm asleep. I try not to shiver when his hands brush my stomach as he scoops up the golden retriever, positioning her on his chest like you would a baby. I don't manage it, but he is polite enough to pretend not to notice.
You have legs and you don't have a belly full of bacon.
He holds out a hand for me, pulling me to my feet gently. How do you know that? Rude presumption.
You're a vegetarian, Rory.
He laughs.
If you're learning tricks for turkey bacon, we have bigger problems than you having a dick on your face.
He makes it so easy. There are so many things I could say, but I bite my tongue to keep them in. Russ shakes his head, ushering me away from the fire pit and in the direction of my cabin.
Don't say a thing.
It's fine. You've made it clear who your favorite is. Salmon has legs too, but whatever. Just know if I manage to befriend a real brown bear, you're dropping to second choice like that. I say, clicking my fingers. He starts, then stops, and as we continue the walk to the cabin, when I look over at him, I can't read the look on his face. My watching snaps him out of whatever daze he was in, and he laughs, but it sounds forced.
I think I can cope with being your second choice, but we don't have brown bears in California. I haven't been able to figure out how it fits in with hedgehogs, foxes, and raccoons since I read the brochure.
Orla introduced the animal names for age groups when she took over from her dad. She thought it was more fun than being named for ages or something, and she let Jenna pick the names when she was like 5 or 6. I can't remember the full story, but yeah, baby Jenna doesn't know her bears, apparently.
Jenna came here as a kid, too?
He asks, running his palm down the puppy's back.
It's pretty cool she works here now.
What? Jenna is Orla's daughter. Did you not know? I say. I thought everyone knew that. Sorry. His expression is hard to pinpoint, somewhere between amusement and despair.
Of course my boss is the owner's daughter.
We finally reach the cabins, and I wish there was a reason to keep walking and talking. He stops as I reach the steps. I take the first one and stop too, reluctant to say goodbye. He takes a step closer and lowers his voice, presumably not wanting to wake Amelia, but I'm closer to his height on this step, and his body is dangerously close to mine.
Jenna said we have to stop carrying the puppies everywhere, because soon they'll be too big, but they'll still expect it. She also said they're dogs, not babies, but I can't help it.
My jaw drops. I'm sorry. Are you telling me that you're breaking rules?
It was more of a suggestion.
It's a rule and you're rebelling. Oh my God. I'm not. You're out of control, Callahan. That's how it starts. 1 minute you're carrying a puppy, the next minute you've crashed a boat you weren't supposed to be on into the rocks and are being threatened with deportation. His eyes narrow at my far too specific example. Theoretically. Anyway, I'd invite you in, but unlike you, I respect authority, and apparently there's something about cabins and not dragging men and their comfort animal into them.
Who knew you could be such a good girl?
I almost choke. Good night, Russ. Thanks for walking me. I step backward up the remaining steps onto the porch of my cabin. Space between us is good. Space means I don't lean forward and kiss him, or attempt to climb him like a tree.
Good night, Aurora,
he says softly.
Sweet dreams.
Turning my back to him, I quietly open the door, careful not to wake my sleeping roommate. When I look over my shoulder, he's still standing next to the steps. What are you doing?
I'm watching you go in, so you don't have to watch me leave.
My heart is in my throat as I close the door gently behind me, and when I finally get into bed, I decide that it was definitely flirting.
Chapter 14. Russ. I didn't think there would ever be a time where I'd voluntarily apply JJ's advice to my life and actually benefit from it, and yet here I am. The only person who knows you're not confident is you. Is something he said to me to be confident with women, but I'm currently applying that to everyone, and surprisingly, it's working. Unnecessary worry is a mentally exhausting process, and by definition, there's no logic to it. All it does is make me feel alone, even when I'm surrounded by people. The team has settled into a comfortable routine with all our campers, and Aurora and I have settled into a comfortable routine when we're not with the kids. Every time I walk her back to her cabin, it gets harder not to kiss her goodnight, especially when she looks like she's thinking about it too. But I'm grateful for her making an effort to keep us out of trouble. I think I'm grateful. I'm enjoying breakfast with Amelia when the woman always on my mind comes stomping toward us. She sits down beside her best friend and huffs. Never again. I mean it. I will pay. I will fake my own death. I don't care about the consequences. Hiding my laugh with my coffee mug, I check over my shoulder to make sure there are no listening ears from the kids still eating breakfast. Xander sits down beside me, his plate suspiciously loaded with bacon. I lean in whispering, "Stop feeding the dogs." He keeps looking at his plate as he shakes his head. "You're not my mom. I don't have to listen to you." "Surely it wasn't bad," Amelia says to a still scowling Aurora, also fighting a laugh. All our campers sleep in one cabin, and we each take turns sleeping in there to supervise overnight a couple of times a week. There's always a senior like Jenna available overnight for emergencies, so as long as your kids aren't acting up, it's easy. Maya was feeling sick yesterday, so Aurora volunteered to cover the night shift, incorrectly thinking she would be with Xander. When she realized she would be with Clay, she looked like the world was ending. Yeah, petty me was happy about that. "Sure it was bad, Amelia," she grumbles. "He told me he doesn't mind cuddling if I'm scared of the dark. I know he's joking, but he's so much funnier when he's not trying to be funny." Amelia's eyes roll. "What did you say?" "I told him I sleep stab." I almost choke on my coffee. "Which I thought was the end of it, but he started telling me it sounded like there was something under my bed, and for me to wait on his while he investigated." "You gotta admire the creativity," Xander says. "Being a douchebag is difficult in this day and age, but here he is, hustling." Aurora's eyes lock on him murderously. "Jessica was coming to ask me to get her teddy that had fallen down the side of her bed, and overheard Clay joke that it could be a murderer under there, and she started screaming. Then everyone else started screaming. I'm surprised you didn't freaking hear it. My ears are still ringing. It took like 2 hours to get everyone back into bed and calmed down." "I slept like a baby," Xander says, taking a bite of his toast. "I didn't. You snore," I grumble into my coffee. "Damn," Amelia laughs. "I just thought the kids were all tired and gloomy because of how long the line is to call home for Father's Day." My shoulders instantly sag. It's Sunday. Aurora looks like she was told she has to pair with Clay again, and I feel the same. It's a day. I know it's just a day, but it's one that feels extra loud and extra in your face when you don't have a good relationship with your dad. One of the activities earlier in the week was making Father's Day cards for the kids to send home, and even though I knew it was coming, I still feel caught off guard. Xander starts laughing. "Easiest way to work out who has daddy issues, tell them it's Father's Day. What a bonding moment for us all." "Speak for yourself," Amelia quips. "My dad is the best guy I know. And I, just this second, decided not to spiral today, so share your misery with someone else, thank you very much," Rory adds, giving him a sweet smile. "I will spiral later, alone, like a regular person. Or if I'm feeling really adventurous, I'll bottle it up and bury it deep down, letting it erupt at a much later, more inconvenient time." "What can we do today with the kids?" I ask, changing the topic to avoid being dragged into this conversation too much. "What do they love the most?" "Paint dodgeball?" Xander and Rory say in unison. Her eyebrow raises as Xander whispers, "Did we just become best friends?" Aurora grabs herself breakfast while we work out what we need, and Clay and Maya join us, immediately on board with our plan. Sundays are usually pretty chilled out. After a week of constantly scheduled activities, everyone's tired, so we plan more low-key days, and it means everyone has energy for the Sunday barbecue and evening event, which is usually movie night or a show. Nothing sounds low-key about paint and dodgeball being in the same sentence. When everything's arranged, Xander and I take the kids back to their room to clean up for the inspection. Brown Bears are currently in the lead in the camp rankings, which my colleagues have attributed to me and my need to keep things tidy. Cleaning is more of a habit than a hobby. My dad's moods were often unpredictable when I lived at home. His gambling losses made him irritable, and it often felt like he was trying to pick an argument. I hated getting into trouble, so I did what I could to prevent those arguments from happening. I did my homework as soon as I got it, sometimes even during breaks at school. I constantly had odd jobs around our neighborhood, so I never had to ask him for money. I kept everything spotless, so he never had a reason to complain about things being untidy. None of it ever mattered. After a loss and a drink, my dad could find an argument in an empty room, but the habits have stayed with me. Now they're going to help win some pizza. Go figure. The morning moves at its usual Sunday slow pace. We set up five-a-side soccer for the kids with energy, and puzzles and crafts for the others. I spend more time watching Aurora excitedly run around cheering on her players than I do trying to make the origami dove I'm supposed to be working on. You have a big fat crush on Rory. Michael, a 10-year-old who apparently doesn't know how to read the room, says. You keep watching her. That's inappropriate, I reply, suddenly very focused on my origami. Rory is my friend. I'm watching the game. You didn't say you don't have a crush on her. I also didn't say I did. He lets it go for now, and I quietly breathe a sigh of relief that Michael's parents are actors and not lawyers, like some of the kids here who are really good at debating. When it's time to usher everyone back into the dining hall, my dove is finally folded. Maya and Xander start leading the group for lunch, but I hang back to tidy up the various half-completed games and craft projects littering the table. Let me help you, a soft voice says, coming up behind me. I'm good, don't worry. Take a seat, I say to Aurora. You must be tired. She sits down in front of the half-finished jigsaw, staring down at it before starting to disconnect the pieces. This is how I feel about you sometimes, you know. I'm looking at her. The apples of her cheeks are pink from running around all morning, her hair pinned back out of her face, showcasing the extra freckles decorating her nose after 3 weeks in the sun every day. She keeps taking the puzzle apart bit by bit, putting it back into the box. Like you want to put me in a box? I joke, unsure what she's talking about. No, like you're a jigsaw puzzle, and I have all the outside pieces, but I haven't worked out how all the inside ones fit together yet. I made something for you, I say, changing the subject quickly. It's not very good. I was distracted watching you miss the goal every time. Her shoulders shake as she laughs. I'm so bad. I'm literally a goalie's dream. You are. She finally looks up as I put the paper dove down in front of her. Speaking as a goalie, that is. She picks up the dove, holding it in her hand like it's the most precious thing in the world, even though it's terrible. I love it. Thank you, Russ. The rules of paint dodgeball are the same as regular dodgeball. The difference is your ball is actually a sponge, which you dip into one of the many paint mixtures dotted around the grass before launching at your opponents. Each round has a color to make it clear who's in and who's out. Given the fact my opponents are mainly children, coupled with my long history of athletics, it didn't occur to me to be worried about getting covered in paint. But as the sponge hits me square in the chest, green paint spraying out from the impact, I realize my certainty was misplaced. Aurora's expression is victorious as she shakes the excess green paint from her hand. The girl has an arm on her, which is fucking hot. I'm not ready to explore how her ability to beat me turns me on. I thought you were good at blocking stuff, she yells from the other side of the center line. I told you I have no talent. I can think of a few things you're very talented at. I'll take her thinking I'm good in bed over being good at paint dodgeball any day of the week. Leaving the court, since she knocked me out, I take a seat next to Maya, who's also covered in various paints. When did 8-year-olds get so competitive? We watch everyone continue the game. My eyes close for a second as I turn toward the sun, loving the heat on my face. That's when something wet hits my leg. Snapping my eyes open, I immediately spot Rory smiling. Maya laughs, handing me a towel. She's gonna give you 2 away. My stomach sinks. There's nothing to give away. Sure, mate. Sure. The communal bathroom is big enough for both me and Aurora. Several more of us, in fact, and yet we're standing so close to each other I can feel the heat radiating from her body. It's no use, she groans, wiping the wet cloth across her neck over and over. I'm destined to look like a colorful Dalmatian forever. Come here. Lifting at her waist, I sit her on the counter and take the cloth from her hand. Her knees slide apart, letting me step between them as I gently tilt her face upward, giving me access to the parts of her painted different colors. They really got you good. As soon as the kids realized how good Aurora was, she became their biggest target. She hums as I slowly clean along her jawline, and when I move down her neck, she shivers, her cheeks flush pink. But we both ignore it and whatever it might mean. "How are you today?" she asks, ending the silence between us. "You don't like silence, huh?" "You don't like answering questions, huh?" "Okay, you got me there." Today was, honestly easier than I was expecting. Being distracted helps, I think. What about you?
Same. I think all I've ever really wanted was for people to want to spend time with me, because my dad just doesn't, no matter which way people sugarcoat it. And my mom wants to spend time with me, but
I move her face slowly, tilting it to get the other side of it.
I can't describe it without sounding horrible. Like, I don't know. She suffocates me sometimes, and it's too much. But the kids want me around because they think I'm nice. And as pathetic as that sounds, it means a lot to me.
It's not pathetic.
And they can't leave. She forces a laugh. So that's good.
You deserve people in your life who make you feel good, Aurora.
You make me feel good.
She turns back to face me, her pretty green eyes staring up at me through her long eyelashes. I want to rub my thumb along her bottom lip, kiss her, see if she tastes as good as I remember. She hesitates, but I recognize the look on her face, the one she gets when she wants to ask me something but doesn't know how to. Just ask me, sweetheart. I promise I'm not going anywhere.
It doesn't matter. We should get back to the barbecue before someone gets the wrong idea. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Aurora slides forward until her body is flush with mine, and I take a step back, a few seconds later than I should have, but I deserve credit for doing it at all. My hands link with hers as I help her hop down, but then I let her walk past toward the exit. "Rory," I call, turning and leaning against the counter she was just sitting on. She stops by the door, watching me with interest. "You make me feel good, too." Chapter 15. Russ. My ringing phone interrupts my running playlist for what feels like the millionth time in the past hour, and my brother has officially irritated me to the point that I'm willing to answer just to tell him to stop fucking calling me. "What do you want, Ethan?" My loud voice is a jarring addition to the tranquil Honeyacres morning. The horses grazing in the field beside my running route look at me wild-eyed, letting out a displeased neigh before scampering away from the fence line, spooked. The best part about this place is the terrible reception, but there are certain patches that have pockets of service just long enough for my family to invade my peace. "You're a piece of shit for never answering anyone's calls." It's a strong start, not unexpected. "You need to fucking grow up." No matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing or how closely I follow the rules and pray that it'll be enough, the universe finds a way to humble me. "What do you want, Ethan?" I ask again, the frustration from earlier diluted by the prickle of his words. "Dad is in the hospital. Mom's asking for you. She wants you there. So stop burying your head in the sand and pretending you're not part of this family like a selfish prick and support her." You'd expect my reaction to finding out my dad is in the hospital to be more emotional, but my first thought is, I wonder how he landed himself in that situation. I've been here before, so it's not much of a surprise. When he pawned Mom's jewelry, and the guilt made him drink so much he needed to get his stomach pumped. When he was in a fight at a casino and ended up needing stitches. When he crashed his car but swore he hadn't been drinking. "I can't. I'm working." "Grow the fuck up," he says harshly. "If you don't get your ass on the road in the next hour, I'm going to come to that camp you're at and drag you home by your hair." "Which state are you going to travel from to do that? You're going to interrupt your tour for this?" Ethan and I have never had that close brotherly connection people talk about. Our 7-year age gap was too big to overcome when coupled with his never wanting to be in Dad's verbal firing line. I've always been angry he left me alone, but I'm not sure I would have made a different choice if I were the older one. "I'm in San Francisco right now. I'm not bluffing, Russ. Ignoring your phone isn't going to work this time. Show up for your family. You don't get to bow out because shit's difficult sometimes. I don't know whether to laugh or scream. I want to tell him that bowing out is exactly what he did to me when he moved across the country and left me to navigate everything alone. Ethan says I'm stubborn and closed-minded, that I don't truly understand what it's like to deal with an illness so corrosive, and that he understands better than I do because he's in the music industry. He told me once that he has more memories of when things were good, and that's why he isn't as angry as me. It's easy to say you understand and you're not angry when you're on the other side of the country most of the year. I don't want to talk to him, Ethan. You don't get it. He's so unpredictable. He can be nice as pie or he's awful, and I hate it. He's sedated. Do it for Mom, Russ. It isn't her fault. Fine, I snap. I'll see you later. You'll be there, right? You're doing the right thing. Drive safe, little brother. The familiar sense of dread fuels my run back to my cabin. It's early, so there's nobody around, and the kids won't be awake yet. Xander did the night shift, so he's in the Brown Bear's cabin with Maya, and I don't want to risk going in to explain. After a quick shower, I throw a few things into a backpack and head toward the main building. It takes 5 minutes for me to work up the courage to knock on the door for the overnight leader's door. Jenna is half asleep when she pulls the door open, and I'm standing there, backpack slung over my shoulder. I'm really sorry to wake you up, I say when I can't find the words to explain why I'm going. Don't worry about it. Is everything okay? She says carefully. I wipe my sweating hands against my shorts and force myself to focus. If I tell you something, will it stay private because you're my boss? She nods slowly, tightening her dressing gown around her waist and leaning against the doorframe. It can stay confidential if you need it to, as long as it's not a safeguarding issue. What's happened, Russ? My dad is in the hospital, and I need to go home for a day or two. I can work back the missed shifts or something. I'm really sorry, Jenna. Is that okay? Oh my God, of course it's okay. Are you okay to drive? Is home far for you? I'm so sorry. What's happened? That's the moment it occurs to me I was so busy arguing with Ethan that I didn't even ask. When there's always something, sometimes asking about specifics gets lost in my order of priorities. I'd feel bad, but I could probably think up a handful of scenarios and be close to the real reason. No, my parents don't live far from Maple Hills, but I don't really like to talk about my family. Is it okay if this just stays between us? I'd rather the team don't know I'm going to the hospital. She nods, and I instantly feel better. Can you just tell them that there's a personal emergency or something? But that I'm okay. I don't want anyone to worry. It's not that I don't want my fellow counselors not to know I'm going back to Maple Hills, but there are tons of excuses I can come up with that don't involve my dad being the topic of conversation. Sure thing. I hope your dad is better soon. If you're going to be any longer than 2 days, can you call me? Yeah, I'll call. But I'll definitely be back soon. Thanks, Jenna. My stomach sinks the second I see Maple Hills appear on the highway signs, and now that I'm taking the exit, I'm not sure it's even still in my body. The gas station coffee I've been sipping on is burned and bitter, the perfect representation of how I feel right now. I ignore the signs I normally take to campus, instead following the ones toward the hospital. As the building comes into view, I consider that I could turn around now, turn my phone off, head back to Honey Acres, and play pretend. I want to run away from this, not have whatever conversation I'm about to have, avoid the people I work so hard not to speak to. But I don't. I park my truck in the short stay lot, like the action alone will manifest a quick visit, and I'll be able to head back to a life I'm actually starting to love. I spot Mom before she notices me in the family waiting area. She looks more tired than the last time I saw her, whenever that was. 4 months ago? 5? The bags under her eyes are dark and striking against her pale skin, her hair grayer, face more gaunt. She's clinging to the coffee cup between her hands as she stares into the distance, and once again I'm wondering if I should turn around and leave. My feet keep carrying me forward until I'm standing in front of her. No part of me on the long-ass drive here considered that I'd have to say something when I arrived, and now that I'm facing her, I don't know how to start. She doesn't say anything as she stands, throwing her arms around me. With her face buried in my chest, she begins to sob. "What happened?" I ask, keeping my voice steady. "He'd offered to pick up some groceries for dinner, and he was hit by a drunk driver," Mom says, wiping her eyes on her sleeve. "He was hit? Was he drunk too?" "No, he wasn't." She sounds appalled, like it's totally unbelievable I could ever suspect he might be in the wrong. She gives me a full play-by-play, and I know from where the crash happened that he was on his way home from the track. There isn't a grocery store near that intersection. "You can go in and talk to him in a minute. The doctor shouldn't be much longer." "Talk to him?" Ethan said he's unconscious. Also, where is Ethan? "He was unconscious, but now he's awake. And your brother is on tour somewhere in the Midwest, I think. Why, did you think he was here?" "I'm going to strangle Ethan the next time I see him." "I don't want to talk to him, Mom. I don't want to be here." She sighs and takes a seat, gesturing for me to do the same. There's no one else with us in the room, and I've never wanted to be surrounded by strangers more than I do right now. "You need to move past this delayed teenage rebellion phase, Russ. I don't know what to do with you. You're an adult, but you're part of this family whether you like it or not. You need to start putting us first." I don't realize the noise is coming from me until the chair begins to shake because I'm laughing so hard. There's nothing funny about this situation. There's never once been anything funny about it, but the laughter continues to bubble up until it feels like it's choking me, and I stop. "You never put me first ever." "How can you say that, Russ? Have you ever gone without a meal? Without clothes you needed? Gas in the car to get you to school? And hockey practice? A roof over your head?" Her eyes water as she stares at me, waiting for me to respond. "Do you think I worked extra hours for fun? Your father is sick, Russ. You don't turn your back on people because they're not perfect." "You're enabling him. Every time you do nothing, you're making it worse. You know he wasn't going to the grocery store. You know that if he was, none of us would be here right now. You can't claim to know what it means or what it takes to keep a marriage together," she says, brushing her hands against her skirt. "When you love someone so much, you'd give your life to make them better. I really don't think the hospital is the right place for this conversation, Russ. Let's talk about it at home later." "I'm not going home. I don't want to talk about it at all. I don't want to be here." My mom has never talked so candidly about my dad's issues before. I feel her pain in her words, even when she delivers them calmly, but it doesn't erase mine. It's a fight in my head where no one else can weigh in, where no one else really gets it, and really where absolutely no one wins. Where logically I understand it's a sickness, that it's a disease that takes hold, that he never stood a chance and the odds were against him, which, when talking about a gambling addict, is ironic, I know. I can say that and I can understand it and mean it, but it doesn't stop it from fucking hurting. "Then why are you here, honey? If you don't want to talk about what's happening in our family, why did you come?" I could tell her that Ethan lied to me to get me here. I could explain that the idea of him turning up at Honey Acres and making a scene in front of my new friends makes me feel physically sick. That having Aurora look at me with pity when she learns that while her dad prioritizes the billion-dollar industry he's part of, mine prioritizes a very different kind of racetrack. "I didn't want you to be alone, but I didn't drive 4 hours to fight with you," I say, rubbing my fingers against my temples. She reaches over, taking my hand in hers. "I wouldn't have married him if he was a bad man. People don't wake up one day and decide to become addicted to something. They don't choose to hurt the people they love." My entire body is aching from the adrenaline of being here, and I'm exhausted. Every feeling, every resentment, every sliver of hurt is on the surface like an open wound. "Did you know he asks me for money?" I know before she opens her mouth the answer is no. She's never had a good poker face, much like Dad, ironically. And when I don't give it to him, he tells me I'm a fuck-up and I'm not his son. Tears fill her eyes instantly, but she doesn't let them fall. "I'm so sorry, Russ. He makes me feel like I don't deserve the good things in my life." It's something I've never said out loud before, and the words practically hack their way out of my mouth. He makes me feel like no one could ever want me, because if my own dad won't pick me over a poker game, why would someone else? That's the drink talking, the desperation. He loves you so much. We both love you so much. I know her words are supposed to soothe me, but all she's doing is making more excuses for him. I don't think she even knows she's doing it. I don't know how to fake it like you, Mom. I shouldn't have come. I'm sorry. Tell your dad how you feel. Sorry? Mom stands, brushing herself down and fixing her hair, preparing herself to head out there and pretend things aren't a fucking mess. You don't think he can get better, right? You want nothing to do with him. Us? Her voice cracks. So go in there and tell him how you feel. What do you have to lose? I'm in a daze as I walk slowly toward Dad's room under Mom's instructions. I've never talked to her so honestly before. I don't think I've talked to anyone like that before. The doctor is leaving as I reach the door to Dad's room. Family? Son, your father is very lucky, he says, patting me on the back as he passes. Lucky. Dad doesn't say anything as I enter the room and sit beside the bed. The machines he's hooked up to beep rhythmically, letting me know that somewhere in there is a heart. The silence is deafening. It makes me think of Aurora and how she'd never stand for it. She'd fill it with something ridiculous, and her cheeks would flush pink, and I'd watch her, soaking up every single drop of her sunshine. I wish I hadn't answered Ethan's call. I wish I were playing tetherball or football or something, anything, in a place where I don't have to deal with this. You look like you have something to say, Dad says, his voice hoarse. He looks like shit. He's bruised and scratched, wires everywhere. I have so much to say. Every bad thought I've ever had about myself. Every risk I didn't take because I was scared. Every conversation I cut short, too anxious for people to see the real me. Every relationship I didn't chase because I didn't want to mess up and let someone down. You've broken our family, and I don't know how we can fix it. He doesn't say anything for a long time, and the man I know to be angry and bitter looks small beneath the harsh hospital lights. I know. For a really long time, I hoped that the dad I loved was in there somewhere, trapped, but there. I don't think he is anymore. You're not the man who taught me to skate or ride a bike. I don't know you. I know. I'm scared to have the things I want in case I fuck them up because you've made me believe I'm a fuck-up, and I hate you for that. I hate you for being everywhere and nowhere all at once. I understand. You're like a weed. There isn't one aspect of my life you haven't invaded and ruined. I couldn't even get through the summer without you corrupting it. I don't speak to you. I don't even read your messages anymore, and you're just there in my head constantly. It comes out fast and frantic, but I mean every word, and I'm pissed at myself for holding them in for so long. My chest eases with every syllable, the weight holding me down for so many years lightening. You deserve better, son. He looks so weak in the bed, listening to me vent. Yeah, I do. So does Mom. Sort your shit out. Dad doesn't shout after me as I stand and leave. My body works on autopilot, muscle memory kicking in to get me as far away from him as possible. Ethan can say I'm burying my head in the sand, but I've been more honest with Dad in one conversation than anyone has been with him in years. Our family is broken right now, and papering over the cracks doesn't help any of us. I don't register what's happening or where I'm going until my truck stops in front of my house on Maple Avenue. The familiarity is an immediate comfort, and I decide to take a break and process before getting back on the road to camp. The door isn't locked when I try it, and when it swings open, the last thing I expect to find is Henry's bare ass while he's balls deep in someone on the living room couch. Chapter 16. Russ. The front door swings open, revealing a now fully dressed Henry. I push off from my truck, avoiding eye contact as I walk past my friend into our house. I've seen Henry's ass before. It's kind of a given when you're on a hockey team. Locker rooms and sharing hotel rooms. It's nothing new. That was new. I'm sorry, man, I say, throwing myself into the recliner and not onto the couch I'll never be sitting on ever again. I should have given you a heads up. I didn't think you'd be here. Is your guest okay? I didn't see her if that makes her feel better. Why are you apologizing for coming to your own house? He says, grabbing us both a bottle of water from the refrigerator. She's fine, just a little embarrassed. She's taking a shower, and I found her a moisturizing face mask thing to relax. I'll check on her after you tell me why you're in Maple Hills. Family shit. I've only arrived today. That's why I didn't text to say I was back. I want to shower before I head back to camp. You can't drive back today, Henry says. That's too much driving for one day. Stay tonight. Head back in the morning. You want to talk about the family thing? I shake my head, dragging my hand through my hair, realizing how tired I am now that I've stopped running on adrenaline. You're right. I'll leave first thing. Don't feel like you gotta hang around for me, though. I'll go into my room out of the way. Just don't fuck in this chair, all right? This one is my favorite. He gives me a strange smile as he stands and moves toward the stairs. I feel sorry for you if you think any of the surfaces in this house are safe. I'll spare you the full description of what I walked in on Lola doing to Robbie when he was sitting there. Yeah, I'm sure I can guess. It was a blowjob. Maybe I'll sit on the floor. Fantastic. Listen, I'm pretty beat. I'm going to shower, maybe have a nap. Is Robbie still in New York? Yeah, he gets back next week. I'll try and keep the noise down. You're a good friend. I laugh. He nods and heads up the stairs, looking at me over his shoulder. So are you. Napping has never been my strength, even when I haven't got a head full of noise. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb after my brothers started with the calls and the messages. Being without consistent reception for a month has killed any dependency I had on my cell phone. If I can hear it now, it irritates me. I don't know how long I've been staring at the ceiling of my bedroom, but I know that it's long enough for me to be annoyed at the sleep that won't come. Maybe it's because I can't hear Xander's snoring. Or there isn't a dog trying to starfish in my already limited space. Honey, we're home! At first I think I'm hearing things, but then I hear a laugh, so loud and ridiculous I know that there's no way I could imagine that. Henry is a few steps behind me as I make my way down the stairs to the living room. Chris, Maddie, and Bobby are dropping pizza boxes and beer bottles onto the kitchen counter by the time I get to the bottom step. There he is! Chris yells excitedly. The prodigal son returns. I'm too jet-lagged to explain to you all the ways you don't understand what that means, Maddie says. Ignore him, Bobby says, slapping his palm against mine and pulling me into a hug. He just likes saying he's jet-lagged, so people ask him where he's been. Can you even get jet-lag from 3 hours? Henry asks, immediately opening one of the pizza boxes. How was Miami? I ask, accepting the beer Chris hands me. Wild, dude. Maddie hands me his cell phone, showing the three of them outside the Miami branch of the Honey Pod. Next time, you're both coming. I'm good, Henry says instantly. Bobby hands out the pizza boxes as we all congregate around the kitchen island, opening them. I suppress the urge to groan as I bite into the pepperoni slice, realizing it's the first thing I've eaten today. What are you guys doing here anyway? I ask, washing down the pizza with my beer. Hen said you'd turned up and unintentionally edged him, Chris says. Henry groans in protest. I didn't. It's in the group chat. Did you not see it? No, sorry. I pull my cell phone out of my pocket, turning my notifications on out of guilt. I haven't really been on it since I left. We missed you, buddy, Maddie says, and we're nosy fuckers. We want to know why you're back from camp because Turner is too nice to press you for it. But we did miss you, Bobby adds, which is more important than whether you got fired or not. Henry mutters something under his breath I don't quite catch. I know I can trust Henry, and he'd never share my business. A drunk driver hit my dad. He's fine. I was visiting him, but I'm going back to camp in the morning. I nod through the echo of well wishes, thanking them and saying nothing more about Dad. They might not know exactly what the situation is, but they know there's something not right with my life outside of college. As much as I love my teammates, I don't think I'll ever be in a place to explain how embarrassed and frustrated I feel about the whole situation. Does Jenna still work there? Bobby asks with a weird smirk on his face. Everyone was obsessed with Jenna. You were obsessed with Jenna, Chris says through a mouthful of pizza. He was convinced he'd have a chance as soon as he turned 18. We only went for one summer, but he talked about her for like 3 years. Yeah, she's my boss. She's great, super nice. She kind of hates being in charge of people, so as long as you're not doing something wrong, she stays out of your way. Is she still hot? I don't know why I'm asking because I know she definitely is, Bobby says. Shit, maybe I'll work there next year. What's your group like? Maddie asks, rolling his eyes at Bobby. Honestly, they're pretty great. There's one guy, Clay, he's a bit of a douche, but he isn't unbearable. Xander, this guy I share a cabin with, is really cool. Maya is great. She's on one of those Camp America international work things with her friends. She tends to hang out with them when we're not working, so I don't know her well yet. Amelia and Aurora are nice. Back up, Chris says. Aurora? Henry follows. That girl who left you in the middle of the night? I rub the back of my neck to ease the nervous prickling happening as I nod. We need to come up with a new way to identify her because things have changed a lot since she was that Aurora. Cheering erupts, jumping and hugging, a few high fives as they celebrate. I literally don't know what they're celebrating. What are you guys doing? Maddie is the first to stop jumping. She's the F1 girl, right? Can you get us paddock club passes? There's no way you two have been together for a month and haven't fucked, Bobby says expectantly. We haven't. They all stop celebrating. They've got this no fraternization rule, and to be honest, I pretty much avoided her the first week. We're fine now, though. We're friends. I have an audience of confused faces staring back at me. They look among themselves, silently nominating a leader who turns out to be Chris. You know no one will be sticking to that rule, right? A bunch of 20-year-olds stuck together for 2.5 months with a rule not to do something? Screw that. I wouldn't last the week, Maddie mumbles, taking another bite of pizza. Henry scowls at him. Because you have no respect for authority. Let's see about that, Captain, Maddie grins. Henry's eyes roll, like they do every time his newly appointed title is referenced. Russ is following the rules. Fuck the rules, Bobby counters. We could all die tomorrow. I need the job, guys. Sorry to disappoint. She's fucking great, though. Like, as a friend, she's great. Swallowed a whole dictionary. Maddie laughs, dodging the napkin I throw at him. I'd need a whole dictionary to describe just how great Aurora is. My mind wanders back to camp and what they're doing. The kids will have eaten dinner by now. They're probably drinking hot chocolate by a campfire. Aurora will be complaining her mug isn't big enough to fit the excessive number of marshmallows she adds, and Xander will be daring her to try and beat her record for the amount she can fit in her mouth. I wonder if anyone will walk her back to her cabin tonight, and if they'll wait to watch her go in. Chris downs the rest of his beer, shrugging nonchalantly as he puts it back on the counter. You won't be the only guy crushing on another counselor, buddy, and they can't fire you all. It's bittersweet leaving home for the second time. After the guys gave up trying to convince me to start living my life to the max, they moved on to telling us about Miami and all the wild shit they got up to. I stopped after the one beer, but by their fourth, Bobby and Chris were reenacting the moment Maddie was mistaken for a famous movie star, and they all ended up in the VIP area with Tristan Harding, the guy from all those romance films Stassi and Lola love. We reminisced about games from last season, our championship win, and predictions for the new season. When I called it a night, knowing I had to get up early, they were genuinely gutted I was leaving again, which made me not want to leave at all. Maddie and Bobby crashed in Robbie's and JJ's rooms, with Chris losing 5 consecutive games of rock, paper, scissors and ending up on the couch Henry violated. They were awake, albeit slightly hungover before the sun was up, to make breakfast and coffee so I could have something decent to eat before getting on the road. Having real friends has shown me I don't need to quietly blend into the background anymore. Telling my dad exactly how I feel has freed me from whatever has been holding me back this entire time. Don't get me wrong, nobody changes overnight, but I'm arriving at Honey Acres again feeling like a brand new guy. I don't look like a brand new guy, though. I hardly slept, and it shows on my face. I feel it in my tired body when I move. I'm stiff from so much driving. Signing back in at the reception at the front of the camp, I find Jenna in a meeting, which means I can wave to her through the main office door's glass panel and don't have to answer any of her questions. It's just before lunchtime, and I know that Amelia or Aurora will be covering me. As tired as I am, more than anything, I want to take over so they can enjoy the day off I stole from them. Brown bears are scheduled for swimming, and the lake is right by my cabin, so it gives me a chance to put my staff t-shirt on and leave my backpack before taking over. Walking down toward my room, I spot Aurora coming toward me, looking down at the ground. "Hey," I call when we're 6 feet from each other. Her head snaps up, eyes widening as she takes me in. I realize I'm holding my breath, waiting for her to say something back, to give me the smile I've become accustomed to seeing when I see her, but it doesn't come. "Are you okay?" she asks, hugging her arms around herself. "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm sorry you had to cover for me. I'm heading to the lake now so you or Amelia can have your day off back."
"It's Amelia. I did yesterday. She won't let you take over, so leave her. We switched dance and swim around because we thought it looked like it was going to rain, but obviously it's still hot and dry as hell. You look like you need sleep."
"I really am sorry. I'll cover you so you can have an extra day off or something. I'll make it up to you."
"You missed the talent show practice,"
she says softly. How disappointed she sounds fucking hurts. Her forehead creases as she frowns.
"I don't care about covering for you, Russ. You disappeared. Jenna told us you had a personal thing and said it was no big deal. So I don't get why you didn't tell me you were leaving."
Her voice cracks.
"You just left me. Us. All of us have been worried. Me and Jenna had an argument about it because she kept saying he's fine, and it was pissing me off."
"Aurora, I'm sorry." I take a cautious step toward her, then another, until I pull her into a hug. We fit together perfectly like this, with her arms wrapped around me, my head buried in her hair.
"Where were you? What happened?"
she mumbles into my chest.
"You can tell me."
"I don't want to talk about it," I say honestly. "I'm sorry I missed practice. I'm sorry I made you worried. I won't do it again, I promise." Something I said causes her to untangle herself from me and take a step back.
"It's fine."
It isn't fine, and I'm gutted to be on the receiving end of that smile she forces to make people think she isn't upset by something. I don't want the wall to go back up between us. The words come tumbling out of my mouth before I really know why. "Tell me a secret."
"Seriously?"
When I nod, she takes a deep breath and starts.
"I'm sad you left without telling me. Not telling everyone, telling me. Thought I might mean a little more to you than everyone else. That you might trust me the most because we have history or whatever."
"You do?"
"I thought about flirting with Clay last night just to feel wanted. How weird is that? I didn't. I called my mom. I went to bed early and spent all day lurking around Amelia trying to keep myself out of trouble.
The idea that disappearing would drive Aurora toward Clay makes me feel like shit. You're not weird, Aurora. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Again.
It's not about me. You're the one who clearly has stuff going on. I'm just trying not to be the person that acts out because of other people. That's something I do a lot, and I don't want to. It's probably the only thing I do better than oversharing."
She presses her lips together as she stares up at me. I wish I could put everything out there like she does, but even after the past 24 hours, something is stopping me. She shrugs, arms wrapped around herself, protecting her.
"I want to be there for you because I care about you. I feel like I could be a better friend to you if you communicated with me."
I made us miscommunicators again. She nods.
Kinda. It doesn't have to mean bearing your soul, Russ. We're getting to know each other. You're allowed to have boundaries and things you keep for yourself. Some people are good at sharing, some people aren't. We just have to find a middle ground.
I'm really sorry I missed practice. I know how important the talent show is to you, and I wouldn't have missed it if I'd had a choice. Aurora unfolds her arms, her posture relaxing the longer we stand near each other. It's okay. There will be a dozen more. Amelia and Xander were very intense. I noticed the backpack on her shoulder. Were you going somewhere before you saw me? I was going on a hike to this place I love, but I wasn't sure about the weather, so I was going to find my raincoat. I'm not even sure there's going to be rain. I think Xander might have made it up because he didn't want to swim. Can I come? I'm not going to be able to relax, so there's no point me trying. I'm okay with getting caught in the rain. She smiles, and the relief floods me. If we get caught in the rain, we'll just enjoy the rainbow.